Hey, this is Andy with Friendly Construction. Today we're going to be talking about pipe bending, just doing offsets and stuff like that. And the basics and techniques that we talk about today, it's true for 1/2 inch to 4 inch. And I'll take you around my shop here and I'll show you some different kind of benders and applications for them, that kind of stuff. And then I will actually show you some the table bending chart and what marks mean on the bender, that kind of stuff. So I'll grab my phone, we'll walk around my shop and I'll show you different benders. First up is this is our table bender. We have it out to run some 2.5 on a project that we had to run an extra 2.5 inch EMT service line around building, and needed to put a couple offsets in there, so we broke it out. Instead of dragging out to the job, we just break it out at the shop. And you can see there's the hydraulic tank, 120 power, two hydraulic lines just feeding a hydraulic ram. Goes up to right here, and there's your shoe. There's your guide for the back side of the guide shoe right there. And then if you look down through here, all these different marks are what you bend to, where to start, where to stop. So you have to know how to calculate your offset, and then be able to know how to use this. And won't lie, it took a lot of bent and kink pipes for us to learn how to use it. I mean, we've had this thing for probably 20 years now, 15-20 years, so we've learned how to do it. And that's the attachment box. That's the gang box it all rolls around in. The hydraulic stays on the table, and then everything else goes in there. And then we'll walk around. And this right here is a Greenleaf 550 speed bender. Currently set up for 3/4. You can see right there, 3/4 rigid, 3/4 EMT on that side of the shoe. And then you place your roller guide right here into corresponding holes. And down there is where you keep the shoes, and right here is where you set your angles. And you hit bend to bend it. When it's done bending, you hit unload. Got an emergency stop there. And these are handles that retract in and out so you can move it about the job site. It is a heavy beast. It doesn't look that heavy, but it is really heavy. It takes a forklift or a crane with some straps to actually get that thing where we need it. Then back here we have what is called a Greenleaf 555 Sidewinder bender. I don't even know if we have any marks on there anymore. I'll tell you the model number. Oh, I'm sorry, this is a model 666, I guess. The new ones are 555s. But it's set up right now, has EMT shoe, or I'm sorry, IMC, a rigid shoe on there. And that's the box for the rigid. And over here, there's our box for the EMT and the foot roller for the larger pipe for EMT. There's another foot roller right there. And the one's for 1.5 inch, one's for 2 inch. And then that one just is all set up on one set of guide rolls. 1/2 does 1.5 inch, 2 inch, and one does 1/2 inch to 1.25 inch. And like I said, that's a Greenleaf. I thought it was a 555, but this is 666. And then over here, these are Chicago type benders. I think those are 1 inch to 2 inch Chicago benders. There's set up on 2 different ones right there. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's one of them. Right there you can see the shoe, and then the other one is back behind there. You can't really see it. Well, there you go. That's the mechanical types right there. Chicago, Sidewinder, electric, hydraulic, Sidewinder. Then you have an electric, hydraulic, what we call a tabletop. And then you have electric, hydraulic, man, I'll get it out in a second. Tabletop, or true table bender. This is for large EMT. You bend up to 2 inch, or 2.5 to 4 inch with this one. And you can see the size of the shoes there for it. That's 2.5 to 4 inch on that one. That little guy back there will do up to 1.25 inch, rigid or EMT. And then the Sidewinder, that is that's sitting right there, will do up to 2 inch EMT or rigid. So those are several types of benders you have, and I'm gonna grab a foot bender and we're gonna walk over it in a second, no pun intended. We'll go over it in a second, and I'll show you the finer things about them. So these right here are foot benders. They're both 1/2 inch, and you can see they look a lot different than one another. This one right here with the blue handle is what we call a sight right bender, and when you bend with this one, you use that little piece of metal stud right there, and those numbers down there correspond with your bends: 15, 30, and 45, like that. There's it says deduct 5 inches at arrow. That's about all it says. It gives you your basic instructions, no more and really no less. So there's that one. Then this is a newer style one. And this one, you can see, has the graduated line marks all the way around. That's an old bender. You can see how rusty it is. 60, 45, 30, 22, and 10. You can see you bend a good deal more with this one. This side is basically the same, and it does have some information on there. Bender parts. There's your arrow. On this side it says stubs 5 inches to arrow. Right there, 1/2 inch EMT. Star for the back of the 90. But in one of my other videos, I said I didn't know how to use it, and I've seen measurements on doing it, and I've tried it, and when I tried it with myself, it didn't work. So the way I do it in my video on bending 90s is how I know how to do it. But yeah, these two benders are what they call a foot bender or a hand bender. But they are used with your foot in conjunction with your hand to make the bends. This one is used like this, a true foot bender, so you can use the sight right piece of metal right there at the bottom. And this one is used like this, and I will be using this one to bend the pipe here in a second, and I'll show you why it's used like that. And then so you can use these lines all the way down through here. So let me get some pipe. We'll get. All right, so we're gonna start out doing offset off of something small and simple. Like I was saying before, you need multipliers. When I teach my guys out in the field, one thing I teach them to do is just let's keep everything simple. 30-degree bends. The multiplier is 2. What that means is, as I measure this, that is 3 3/8 of an inch. I know the multipliers 2, I'll double it. 3 3/8 will become 6 3/4. I'll take this scrap piece that I was showing somebody else earlier. We're not concerned about a starting mark, we're just concerned with getting the bend done. We're going to put a mark at 4 inches. And always use pencil. You don't want to use permanent markers, sometimes it bleeds through. We know it's 3 3/8. We're going to double that. That's going to be 6 3/4. Plus 4 inches will be 10 3/4. If you do one mark, you want to bring the other mark all the way around, or at least 180 degrees to it. Because when you roll the pipe, you need it on the opposite side. Like I was saying, these benders get used like this right here. Try not to knock off all my shop manager stuff on his desk. I'll step out a little. What we're doing is taking that first mark and we're lining it up with arrow right here. Got that aligned. Not concerned with that offset in the back. I'm gonna push it down to the 30-degree mark. If you look, pipe's perpendicular to that 30-degree mark. Once you've made the first bend, I use this weld line right here, and it's going to be true the way the pipe's manufactured. I don't use the guidelines. I don't use the inch marks that any of the manufacturers use because they're printed on crooked as can be because the pipes are rolling through the manufacturing process as it's done. This weld, however, is true. Stays straight down the pipe. There's a casting line right here. My guys take markers and pencils and we put a center mark on that casting line. We line it up with the weld. And we spin it around to flip it. There's a casting line on the inside and we do the exact same thing. We line it up with that. Line up the second mark with the arrow. Eyeball it, trying to make it as straight as possible. It's hard for me to see that casting line. Put your second bend in. That's the offset. I got a dog leg in mine, but it does look pretty true. To move dog leg, you just simply just put a little weight into it, and bam, nice and straight. Set that right there. Set that right there. And we have 3 3/8 offset. Take it honestly, it could use a tick more on that second bend. There we go. Just enough to put a coupling on there and keep it tight against the object. But if you notice, you have a nice rolling offset. 30 and 30 equals 60. When you're doing your pipe multiplier, pipe addition, adding your 90s up and stuff, it's better to have a 30 in there. Showing one of my guys how to draw up a pipe to get a tighter bend into a shorter amount of pipe. This has been on 60 and 60. I can't remember what the distance was. I think this was a 18 or a 15 inch offset, something like that. But the point being was, if you do 30 and it's 18 inch offset, mark here 36 inches away would be the mark up here. It starts to draw out your offset. So when we have this big long offset like we do, let's pull a measurement on it real quick. We'll see what it is. 15 and a half. So yeah, that would have been 31 inches. It would have been a nice subtler transition to do that bend, but we didn't have the amount of room. We didn't have the 31 inches. This right here draws it down. 1.2 is your multiplier when you bend on 60, but now I am in a like 18-inch range or so from offset to offset, and that just saved me 13 inches. What we ended up doing was having a set of J-box and coming out of the top and popping 90 in there. Well, that's what my service crew ended up doing. But I was showing the new service guy, because he's still learning and he doesn't do a lot of pipe work, and he knows how to bend on the 20. I've been on the 30 with the ×2 multiplier, but he didn't know his multiplier tables. And these benders back in the day used to have them, but they don't do it anymore. Now you just have to kind of know what they are, and I'm gonna put that up again in the video here at the very end. That way you might be able to take a screenshot or something of it. But I'll go over the multipliers. For a 10-degree offset, it's ×6. So if you had, once again, the 3 3/8, multiply that thing out by 6, and that's what you're going to come up with. Rough math, that's about 19 inches, a little bit more. But to put it in, you need 19 inches of pipe to do those subtle 10-degree offsets. Take it to 22 degrees and you need 2.6. 30 is ×2, 45 is 1.4, and 60 is 1.2. So everybody's got a smartphone these days. Put in the distance you want to offset. I mean, if we want an offset off this gang box from the floor, 33 inches. To do that at 30 degrees, you need 66 inches of pipe. To do it at 60, you have to bear with me because my smartphone's actually recording this. You would need 39.6 inches between your marks to put it at 60 degrees. So that's a huge draw up from 66 at 30 degrees to take it down to 39.6. But at the same time, if you took it the other direction in 10, you'd be lengthening it like crazy. So I hope these pipe bending techniques help y'all. And I'm going to do another one to address 3 and 4 point saddles, and the parts of the bender that you use and what you use where, you know, when you're doing a 3 point saddle. And in a 4 point saddle, I'll show you how I've learned to bend them in the field and from other electricians. But no matter what bending you got to do, if you follow the multipliers and you bend to these lines right here, and it takes some doing. I've been out of the field a long time, so you know, the pipe bending I do is usually on a job site to show some guys how to do something, or to try to teach some of the newer guys that don't bend pipe. But all benders are going to bend the same. The bender does not dictate the offset. The degrees you use dictate your offset and the distance. The only thing the bender dictates is 90s. Every bender's different on that, and you have to actually check it. Right here, stubs to 6" to arrow. So this is a 6" deduct when you do 90s on there. But not every bender is the same on that. But when you're doing offsets, it is. Another thing I was going to show you is a box offset and how you put them into pipe. I'll show you how to do one in pipe. But one thing that we've purchased, and it's a labor savers. Electricians should be able to bend a box offset by hand. Every electrician should if you run pipe. But for the sake of uniformity and speed when we're doing panels, this is a green box offsetter. This is an 1810. This one's for ½ inch. I think it's 1815 or the 1910. I can't remember the number on it, but it's for 3/4. And you open it up, slide your pipe in. We have it marked right here, up and down, meaning which way how your offset's what part's gonna be down and what part's gonna raise up. Put your pipe in there, and then you literally roll the handle and you stamp it into place. I don't have any ½ inch EMT, I don't think. I might have. Hey. Say blind squirrel finds a nut every now and again. Well, we found a ½ inch pipe. Oh my God. Slide it in. Works a little bit better on the ground. And obviously we need to rebolt this one. But I usually stamp mine a couple times. And what is produced is a nice uniform box offset. And when we're doing panels, I will not allow my guys to bend hand offsets anymore because of the inconsistency, and we end up cutting off pipe, and it's just one of those things that irritates me because it just eats up time. So I recommend buy one of these ridiculously little expensive things and stamp your pipe. I'm not saying let everybody in the field use this thing because to drag it around to do it would be kind of ridiculous. But when we're doing electrical rooms and exposed work at panel boards and stuff like that, NDPs, we will break it out and my guys will stamp all the ½ inch and the 3/4 so we have a uniform offset. So as long as you line it up to the same point every time, we'll have a uniform offset. But I'm going to grab the bender real quick and I'll bend the box offset. So when you're doing a box offset, same thing. Find the weld line. Line it up with the casting frame. This climb bender actually has an arrow right there. When you're doing a box offset, it is a bump. And when I say bump, I mean a very light bump. Bump. I always look down my pipe and I always check the dog leg. I cannot stand somebody who will not straighten a dog leg out of the pipe and just leave it. Well, it says it's level, yeah, but it looks crooked because you've got a dog leg at the box offset. And I'm trying not to do it too hard because you can easily send it the other way. Finally, got it in there. But box offset, that's hand bent. That one is machine bent. This one's going to be a little heavier than that one, but in my experience, my box out, so it's a little work order there. I tend to have to roll these in a little bit, but when we're doing the panel boards, we figure out where we're at. We go to it, just drilling the holes in the same location. So when we do the pipe going into it, it's all uniform. So yeah, I hope it helped, and I hope you enjoyed my video. Hit like and subscribe, and we will see you later. Thank you for watching.